Yeah, no, it would be very helpful if some voices, but there are also, I do know that there's people talking about me behind my back, and that is probably getting into the ear of some of our more progressive talking heads, if you will. And that is one of the reasons I think I'm being ghosted.
Well, I've never been known to shy away from reality, so I'll just say it. Yeah, I've seen some screenshots myself sent to me of Tim Canova, who, hey, I covered his campaign in 2016. I think he ran a good campaign. I think he got screwed, but for whatever reason, he's to me, and I've had conversations with him. Become slightly embittered, I would say. So I have seen screenshots of him kind of, talking derogatorily about you, and it's unfortunate. One I saw was him. I honestly, I always criticize people for writing LOL because nobody actually laughs out loud. But I literally laughed out loud when I saw this message because he was telling somebody that he's not supporting you because your campaign manager was supporting Debbie Wasserman Schultz in 2018. And I literally laughed because I don't know anyone on planet Earth with more Debbie Wasserman Schultz derangement syndrome than your campaign manager. I mean, I won't mention names, but this guy is not working for Debbie Wasserman Schultz, has never been working for Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I know because I've gotten so many phone calls and text messages over the last 5 years. And the first thing is Debbie Wasserman Schultz. He'd have to be the most successful double agent in the history of all double agents. So yeah, that is interesting because it's not just your campaign. There's a lot of that stuff that goes on where previous candidates talk smack about whatever or like gossip goes around and people lose sight of the bigger picture that you are for these policies, yet you're not being supported by certain people in this ecosystem.
Yeah, it's challenging. As if fighting a corporate monolith incumbent wasn't hard enough, I have to be dealing with Tim on one side and being ghosted by the progressives and the Democratic Party in the district. And it's like we have like battles on every front that are so not even my doing because I'm just trying to help people. Like that is it. So, when I see people that are slamming me now, and with Tim, there is something I have to be very clear about because I was a volunteer for his campaign. I do believe he was cheated in 16. And there is only two options with how he's been talking about me. Now, he's been doing this for over a year. He's been telling people that I am controlled opposition. He has told people I take money from George Soros. He puts this out there, and I want to be very clear about this. He is either one, completely, utterly lying, or two, he is suffering from a delusion. But it is one of those two things. And I don't want to say that I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not giving a diagnosis. But he either is purposely lying because he knows damn well that what he's saying about me isn't true, or he really is convinced in his mind that that is true, in which case he should get some counseling. And I don't say this meanly. I say this as, or we can look at it, maybe he was just in it for himself all along. I don't know. But you cannot call yourself a progressive if you are purposefully stymieing the one person who speaks out for things like reparations and a Green New Deal and Medicare for All in favor of someone who is a corporatist. Right. So if you're doing that, then you were about yourself. You were never about the cause in the first place.
And I'll just say, because, I don't want like the takeaways from this to be your crapping on Tim Canova.
No.
I'm saying, because just dropping the veil, I mean, he wrote me a couple months ago, wasn't happy with certain things I was saying or that I wasn't jumping on board of what he was saying. Bottom line, there's no question he was screwed in 2016. I covered it. In 2018, I'm sorry that some disagree. There's no evidence he was screwed in 2018. He ran as an independent in a very establishment Democrat district.
Absolutely.
And he lost significantly. And the evidence that he showed to me as a journalist, commentators might have him on and just push this, but I didn't see overwhelming evidence that he really won in 2018. And because of that, he didn't like it. He also expressed to me he didn't like it that I was interviewing you, and I said, well, if you're running, I'll interview you, but you haven't announced you're running, so am I supposed to not interview the person that's running against Debbie Wasserman Schultz? So the only thing I'll say is, I don't have any evidence you're taking money from George Soros. I certainly know that when he's saying your campaign manager was secretly working for Debbie Wasserman Schultz in 2018. I'm not a rich man. I'm not even a mildly successful person yet. I would put every single dollar down that I have, knowing your campaign manager. No, he's not a double agent for Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
No.
So it's just unfortunate. And, to me, the better thing would be if he has issues, just come out publicly, say what those issues are. You could respond, let it be a 3-day thing, and that be that. But not like this high school behind.
But he doesn't, there's no evidence. And that's what's so funny. So, he'll say something to somebody like, my campaign manager was working for Debbie 2 years ago. But there's no evidence to show that. Do you have any sort of pay stubs? Like what do you, and it's just interesting. And I'm just glad that people are starting to realize it, because the people who have forwarded this information to us, obviously we're starting to get suspicious that, it doesn't sound right. Like it sounds off, because it's ridiculous.
Right. So, and if people want to respond to this, however, listen,
yeah.
I've met Tim in person in 2016. Then again, he was home in New York visiting family, so I met with him there. I liked Tim then. I haven't spoken with him recently. So this is not a knock on Tim, but honestly, there's much bigger battles, and progressives shouldn't be sabotaging one own. Maybe for him, you're not progressive enough. I don't know. But you're certainly more progressive than Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who should be the main focus, taking her out. Since Tim Canova's name was obviously brought up throughout that part of the interview, I reached out to him to get comment. I asked him straight up, do you have any evidence for telling people that Jen Perelman is funded by George Soros, or that her campaign manager is somehow working for Debbie Wasserman Schultz in the past or present? Tim responded to me by saying Pete Hager, who is Jen's campaign manager, was thoroughly DNC and Florida Democratic Party in 2018. I gave him my list for a fundraiser that he would host. The only people he produced at the event was one neighbor and Ken Evans, a DNC committeeman tied to Wasserman Schultz. Evidence enough for me. As for Soros, Perelman has the support of Brand New Congress organized by Soros stooge Zach Exley, who I had to fire from my 2016 campaign when he was attempting to steal my fundraising list. Perelman must be running a great campaign if she's picking fights with me instead of Wasserman Schultz. So, first of all, as I said to Tim, what you're just describing to me is not actual evidence for the claims you're making. And I know he's making the claims because I've seen screenshots of his conversations with people in the progressive community. And I've known for over a year that Tim, has been criticizing Jen, who's running against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Now, if this all sounds very high schoolish to you and why get into the weeds of this, I think it's important because the bottom line is it's hard enough to upset a heavily funded corporate establishment Democrat. Go ask Tim Canova. It's hard enough to do it when you don't even know, you can't guarantee the integrity of elections. Go ask Tim Canova, who was screwed in 2016. Paper ballots were illegally destroyed, many different things. But if you decide not to run again, which Tim decided not to run again, it just seems like sabotage to be basically bad-mouthing a candidate with evidence-free claims. So I pointed out to Tim, what you're saying isn't actually evidence. It's just an opinion. His response, yes, that is my opinion. Don't care much if that's not enough evidence for you. All I could do is report his response to it. I will say, when he says Jen Perelman's campaign manager, Pete Hager, set up a fundraiser for me and only 2 people showed up in 2018, I happen to know for a fact that Peter, who volunteered on Tim Canova's campaign in 2016, also tried to help him in 2018, had told him he didn't think it was a great idea for you to run as an independent in 2018. I know for a fact that Pete Hager had trouble drumming up support for Tim Canova as an independent in 2018. So claiming that because only 2 people showed up to your fundraiser and one of them has ties to the establishment means that the Pete Hager is a secret double agent for Debbie Wasserman Schultz, again, there's no evidence of that. That's just your opinion, and frankly, it's a wrong opinion. I happen to know Pete Hager since 2016. I don't know anyone with more Debbie derangement than Pete Hager. He wears it as a badge of honor. And he's currently working for Jen Perelman's campaign. The other thing, suggesting that Jen Perelman is taking George Soros money because she was endorsed by Brand New Congress, who has ties to Zach Exley, it's a whole convoluted web. But the point is, so Tim, are you then saying every candidate endorsed by Brand New Congress is secretly funded by George Soros and somehow establishment? I mean, that's nonsensical. There's been really strong progressive candidates that have won that were supported by Brand New Congress. I happen to know some of the people that work at Brand New Congress. They ain't neoliberal. I can tell you that. They are hardcore progressives. So I just think it's unfortunate. Again, I think Tim ran a good campaign in 2016. But I just think this high school, bad-mouthing current candidates because of whatever happened in your campaign is just unfortunate. And it's unfortunate because I think it has impacted Jen's campaign to the point where some media figures that have huge platforms have chosen not to have her on because of what Tim has been telling them, which again is just evidence-free. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.